Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to install a CPU, AMD in particular, onto a motherboard. So I am installing the Ryzen 7 7800 3CD X3D. This is the processor in my hand right now. AMD Ryzen 7 7800 X3D. This is currently the best gaming processor on the market. It's been benchmarked to be the best one. So I'm going to install it onto this motherboard. It's an MSI B650 gaming plus Wi-Fi motherboard. In my last video, I told you I was going to build a all-white build. However, my friend really wanted to buy the white board from me, the Stealth Ice. So I sold it to him because he can't find that board in the US. So since I'm in Taiwan, it's easier for me to find that board. So I decided to sell it to him. So I needed a motherboard in a pinch, and I basically found a deal on this board and I decided to buy it. It's a really good deal. It's different than the Stealth board. The Stealth board is the 650E. This is the 650 regular board. And so this board doesn't support PCIe 5. So that means that it does not support the newest GPU that will be coming out, the next generation one, the NVIDIA 50 series, for example. So this motherboard will only support up to the 40 series. But since I just bought a 4070 card, this motherboard would do for now. And I got it for such a good deal that I couldn't really pass it up. And so the more as time goes by, I realized that it's really hard it's not that easy to find all the right parts, especially white parts for a white build. So I decided that this black board will do. I think that this white build will become a black and white build, let's say, which is not horrible looking. I mean, I've seen black and white builds and they look pretty nice actually. I like this board. It has a nice gray accents. So I might go buy some cables that are gray and white to accent this board. I haven't decided yet. So let's just put this CPU on here. Okay. I'm gonna try my best to do this with one hand. So see that little on the left corner, there's a little dot. So that tells you that, and there's also an arrow here. So there's a little dot on the chip itself. Not sure you can see it. And there's a little arrow there. And that arrow should go with the arrow right there. You see that arrow right there? That they need to match for the chip to go on correctly. And also make sure you hold your chip on the sides, on the board side. Don't touch the back. So see how I'm holding like this. Do not touch the front or the back. Because the front you don't want any kind of like fingerprints on there too, oils, because you're gonna have to coat the front or the top with thermal grease. And the back you definitely don't want to touch too, because those are I don't know, explain it. You don't want to touch that part, because those are the contacts making contact with the motherboard. So I'm just gonna drop this in gently. Okay. There you go. See that? I think I need to shift this over a little bit. There, yeah, that was in. Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit. See that? You got all the corners flush. And then you lower this top part. Oh, actually, let me lift this up. This thing right here, the arm. It's called a, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's the locking mechanism. Lower this down. So usually there's something called a pop cap, like a plastic cap, but I already removed that earlier because I already installed this CPU once. I'm just reinstalling it for you to see, for you guys. So right now there's tension because this part right here is locking down this door, this top part. So why this is necessary is because this needs to push down the CPU, downward pressure on the CPU, so that the pins of the CPU, bottom pins can basically touch the motherboard. So I'm gonna scroll this all the way in here. There's a clip down here. It's gonna be really. So this bracket usually is not here. It's a bracket for CPU cooler actually. That's already been installed. I have a hard time. Let me get this pin underneath that. I want to just do it manually. I can't do it with one hand. I'm gonna stop the video. Okay, we're back. As you can see, I got see that part right here? I got it underneath that clip to lock it in place. So this is how you install a CPU. And I had to, next step is I had to apply thermal grease on the top of the chip. I have my desk all set up. In my previous video, I showed you the unboxing of my new gaming desk. And this desk is really nice. It's actually a standing desk. So it has a remote here. You can change the height. I haven't plugged it in yet. See the cords below. It's a dual motor desk, so I need to plug that in, and then I can start, raising it or lowering it. I just installed the CPU. And here's the same components I showed you before. Well, there's a couple of new things I didn't show you yet. Like I got this couple more DIMMs of RAM. So got 2 more DIMMs and then 2 more DIMMs here. So that's gonna be combined 64 gigabytes. So 32 each. This is the white RAM and this is the black RAM. So it's gonna be a black and white build now. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, can I mix RAM from different brands? And the answer is yes. As long as the speed of the RAM is the same and the type of RAM. So this is DDR5, this is DDR5, and both RAM is at 6,000 speed. This is also 6,000 RAM. And even the CL speed is the same. This is CL30. This is also CL30 speed. So when the speed is the same, then you're fine with different brand, with mixing RAM brands. Now, if let's just say the speed was different, then you can still use the RAM sticks together, but your computer, your motherboard and your CPU will automatically run at the lower speed RAM. yeah, it's gonna just take advantage of the lower speed, and it will ignore the higher speed RAM. So the higher speed RAM will just run slower, basically. So you gotta install the same speed RAM. That's the important tip here, okay? And I never showed you the CPU before that I got. So this is the CPU. It's the 7800X3D. Currently, as of today is October 19th, I believe. It is the fastest CPU for gaming in the world. So it's the best CPU you can buy for gaming, okay? Fastest across all brands, so AMD and Intel. I also got a CPU cooler. This is a air cooler, and this is my all-in-one liquid cooler. Now, the reason why I have two is because I bought the liquid cooler for aesthetics, for looks, obviously, and also I've always just wanted to test out a liquid cooler. I've always preferred air coolers because of their value, and and they're just getting better and better, and they're actually really good at what they do for the price. And I wanted to do a comparison between a very budget Montech air cooler and your kind of expensive NZXT Elite coolers, those all-in-ones that are very popular, but they're very expensive. So I have a feeling that the NZXT is gonna come out on top, but I'm really curious how well will the Montech cooler compete, because I have a feeling that it's gonna do really well, actually, because these coolers are good, they're very good, especially for the price. And let me show you something really funny on these coolers. I'll just take this away for a second. You see this? Montech has a tagline, and I think their tagline is "with good value." So that's like their logo tagline or brand tagline, "with good value." And I find that very interesting because it's not bullshit. It's true. It's not BS, because their products that I've had experience with have always been really good value for the money. So everything from build quality and performance is pretty darn good for what you pay for with the prices. So this cooler retails for around $30, I think. So I got this for like $30, around $30 USD. But I mean, I paid in Taiwan dollars, obviously, but it's about $30, I believe. It's the Air Cooler 210. And it comes with RGB, which is really cool. Yeah, it actually has an RGB fan on it, which is really cool. So I'm kind of curious and excited to install that. And I've already installed the cooler bracket on here. So you know, we can definitely test the Montech out first, get the thermal readings on that, and then break out my NZXT 280. Also, I got the 280 for various reasons, but one of the reasons is because I think if I got the 360, because it was between the 280 and the 360, and the prices are actually very similar. Like the 360 is obviously more expensive, and there's 3 fans, so it should perform better than the 280. But I think it's more fair to compare the air cooler with a smaller RGB. I mean, sorry, a smaller liquid cooler. You know, something not as powerful as a 360. The 360 is probably gonna like really beat the air cooler by a pretty big margin. And I was looking for 240 for this test, but then I couldn't find one in Taiwan. So just so you know, all the Kraken Elite 240 coolers in Taiwan are sold out, at least as of today. I can't find any. Not even one. Not even used. Not that I would buy a used. I probably wouldn't buy a used because I don't think you should buy a used cooler. That's just my opinion. I think maybe, I mean, buying an air cooler, I would buy used maybe, even though air coolers are very affordable. So I don't know if I would, but I think I would prefer to buy maybe a used one for air cooler. But for a liquid cooler, I don't think I would buy a used one, just because I feel like it is more prone to maybe abuse by the previous owner. There might be issues with it, more issues with it if you buy used. So I would probably lean toward buying a new one for best performance. What else? Also, yeah, so I was looking for a 240, and I wasn't gonna buy a 120 obviously, because that's definitely not gonna work. I mean, it's gonna probably, I'm not sure if it would even beat an air cooler actually at 120. But yeah, I mean, I thought 240 would definitely beat a 120, beat an air cooler. But I just decided that 280 was the only one I can get my hands on, especially in white, because the color actually made a big difference for me, and also the screen. I really wanted a Kraken Elite, which is the newest model, not the old model, which is the non-elite model has a worse screen. It has a smaller LCD screen, and it's the resolution is worse too. So this screen is beautiful. Look at that. It's big. It's like 2.36 inches wide. It's pretty big. Yeah. So that's why I got it. And then I got here my trusty Keychron K8 keyboard. It's also RGB. It's a very subtle RGB though. I didn't turn it on yet, but in the bottom, the recessed lighting. So the keys don't light up, which is nice. It's more subtle. I don't want like RGB lights everywhere, obviously. So obviously I'm not one of those like people who hate RGB. Like I'm okay with RGB, but I'm not like a fanboy of RGB. Like I think I'm kind of in the middle of my opinion about RGB. Like I think there's a place for RGB. So for this white build, I think RGB is very appropriate. I think I want a white build with some RGB elements to it. I'm not saying that like every fan needs to be RGB. I also haven't decided on what fans to get yet. Like I was thinking about Fantex because the case itself that I bought is a Fantex case. So I might just go with the Fantex fans, because the Fantex fans are nice because they have these covers that cover up these like holes, like screw holes and bolt holes, which is nice. It's really seamless. They cover them up, and then you can remove them to obviously disassemble the fans from like whatever, from the fan cages. But the fact that they have Fantex fans have covers on them, they're really nice. It's just very like aesthetically pleasing, and for me, aesthetics is very important. So a lot of reviewers and PC builders, they're kind of like not that into aesthetics as much. Like they're very like pro efficiency or pro price or pro effectiveness, right? I think those things are obviously very important, but to me, aesthetics is just as important. Like I do not place aesthetics below a lot of those features. For example, like maybe effectiveness is number one for me. Like you want the component you buy to be effective, right? But I think other than effectiveness, what if it looks good or not is second important. It's tied with second with everything else, like with like pricing, everything. Like sometimes I would even spend more because it looks better. Yeah, I'm like that. I mean, some people, they like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna buy the ugly one because it's cheaper. No, I that's not. I mean, as you can see, I bought a desk that has marble design on it. Now, this isn't real marble. Obviously, this is a laminate desk. It's just like a faux marble pattern. It's a fake marble desk, right? But it's classy. It's nice. It's super nice. Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan of marble. And this desk has a nice pull-out drawer. It's really nice. It has a nice sound to it too when you pull it out and pull it in and bring it back in. For those of you into ASMR, yeah, it has a nice sound, satisfying sound to it. This keyboard has a nice sound to it too. For those of you that are into ASMR. So just so you know, I have a keyboard collection. I have a bunch of Apple keyboards from like the 80s and 90s. Actually, mostly 80s. With Alps keycaps. I mean, not keycaps, keys. Yeah, the mechanical keys. So Alps keys are pretty collectible. And people buy those keyboards just to like take the keys off and like build their own keyboards. Those are hardcore, you know, keyboard people, but they do that as a hobby. Okay, I'm not that hardcore, but I do have a collection of keyboards that I've collected through the years, like a 2GS Apple 2GS keyboard. I have a extended keyboard, AEK model. So I do have this keyboard collection, which I was really into like a couple years ago. I had this keyboard phase. But anyway, I think this video is starting to run a little longer again. So I'm gonna continue to make these videos, and I hope you learned something from me adding the CPU onto the motherboard. And oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, the motherboard is this motherboard. It's the I'm not sure if I mentioned this before. It's a B650, right? And it's the Gaming Plus Wi-Fi by MSI. So it's pretty new motherboard. I mean, it's only like a couple years old, maybe max. I believe it came out like maybe like, I don't know. All I know is the motherboard came out maybe 23 and maybe last year, or maybe 22 at the latest in 2022. But it's a pretty, you know, new keyboard. And I actually recommend the 650 because the B650 for AMD, because for all gaming. I mean, if you're a gamer and you have a Ryzen CPU, AMD CPU, you know, like the new generation ones, the AM5 generation, then I recommend this motherboard, or the 650 or the 650E, because the 650 can support PCIe 4 right here, and which means it will support this GPU. Or all 40 series GPUs and below and older, like 30 series too, 20 series, whatever, even TIs, right? Because they're all backwards compatible. So the only, and obviously AMD graphics cards. Yeah, I know I don't talk about a lot about AMD graphics cards on the channel. I probably will be talking about them more in the future, but it's because rumors have it that the next generation of AMD cards are not coming out, basically, meaning that when NVIDIA in 2025, next year, when NVIDIA releases the 50 series, AMD, I don't think, is going to release anything next year. So they're not going to be competing with NVIDIA at all. So for me, it's like NVIDIA has basically a monopoly, right? So I think my focus for the rest of this year and next year will be just on NVIDIA. Probably not on AMD at all, unless they release something, right? Then I'll probably review it and compare it, right, with the NVIDIA chips. I mean cards. What else? So yeah, so you know, this chipset is probably what I would buy for, because it's like a lot of things are overkill. Like the newest AMD board that just came out is the X870 and the X870E, and I might be testing those boards out if I can get my hands on one of them or a couple of them. like I'm actually looking at a ProArt board, the XA70E ProArt board, and I see one used in a marketplace in Taiwan. So I'm thinking about buying it and reviewing it, and probably flipping it, you know, because I think I can get it for a pretty good price and then just flip it online. But like that board is the newest chipset, and it supports PCIe 5, obviously. But what separates that board from this current gen, you know, this board, the 650, is that it has like I think it can support faster RAM. I think like 8,000 speed RAM, and I think it has Wi-Fi 7. Yeah, I think those two things. It might have some M.2 specifications that's better or faster, but I know like it has Wi-Fi 7, so that's a major big difference. Yeah, but I feel like a Wi-Fi is not worth it because nothing really supports, like, you have to, you know, get like a better router for the Wi-Fi 7, and, you know, like to support that kind of speed, right? So it's like there's much more investment into the Wi-Fi, and I feel like for gaming, I would think most gamers would just use Ethernet, and if you did use Wi-Fi, you didn't have Ethernet, then that I guess it would matter. But like, you know, for gaming, I mean, while you're gaming, do you really need the internet? Obviously with Steam and downloading and stuff, you usually need the internet, but like I'm just saying that like while you're playing a game, you might not need the internet, you know. Depending on how you know, what games you have and what you use, obviously. But I think Wi-Fi, you can also buy a Wi-Fi card or module, because a lot of these motherboards, they come with Wi-Fi cards. They're not soldered, so they're removable. So all you have to do, for example, the board I'm looking at, the ProArt board, the used board, I was talking to the seller. He's like, "Oh yeah, these are from like some design agency that went under, and the cards have been tested. The motherboards have been tested and they're fine. The only thing that's wrong with them is that they don't have their Wi-Fi 7 card, right?" I'm like, "Oh, so they removed them?" They're like, "Yeah, because I guess they felt like those cards have some value and they just removed them, and without kind of like reducing the value of the motherboard too much, so they can't resell them or anything like that. So that's why you can still resell for like at least $300, right, or more, because those boards are selling for like at least $450 or higher new, at least like maybe $500 new, around there, like $480 maybe. So he's trying to sell it to me for like $300 used, right, without a Wi-Fi card, and I'm willing to buy at that price even because the Wi-Fi module is removable. So you can go online and find even a Wi-Fi 7 module for like, I think like $30. I could be wrong about the pricing, but I think I could have sworn I saw one for like $30. I don't know how good of a brand it is, but it's definitely a card you get that's compatible even. So I think any Asus Wi-Fi module is compatible. Like any Asus, yeah, even if it's not Wi-Fi 7, like let's say it's Wi-Fi 6 or even below, before it's Wi-Fi 6, older ones are even compatible with that board, because they're pretty much backwards compatible. So if you don't care about Wi-Fi 7, you can just buy like a Wi-Fi 6 card or even older card just to get Wi-Fi on your board, as long as the board can have a slot for that. It's because the slot, it's an M.2 slot. I read online. I found a manual for that motherboard, the ProTech motherboard, ProArt motherboard, the XA70E, and it says that the M.2 Wi-Fi card is removable. Yeah, that's what M.2 means, right? It means it's removable, basically. So yeah, it's cool that's good news, right? It's not soldered, and you would expect it not to be soldered because, you know, this is a pretty high-end board. You know, it better not be soldered, you know. Yeah. So anyway, thank you for watching. I gotta run, but thank you I have like 4 subscribers now. I'm so excited. If you would subscribe, that would be great, and like the videos, and just watch all the videos I have if you can. All my videos are pretty long, but I think it's just like I kind of want to get into things, and I think I personally like longer videos when I watch them online. Like, I learn a lot from longer videos, personally, as a consumer of YouTube. And now now I'm a YouTuber, as someone that's making videos, I think I prefer my videos to be at least 10 minutes long. Yeah, so I think you get more out of them. And I actually don't script my videos, at least I currently don't. I'm just literally telling you what I know, my true opinions. I'm just like kind of, as I'm filming, I'm thinking of things to say. So yeah, so I mean, the videos might not be the greatest or the best edited or anything like that, but they're true from my heart and from my brain. So direct from my brain, not filtered, no AI involved, things like that. Oh, I just want to remind everyone that if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna give away this GeForce RTX 4070 Super card. Now, I'm going to be using this card, because right now it's brand new, but I'm going to be using this card and doing some benchmarking. But obviously, when I give this away, it will be used. But, you know, I hope that doesn't bother anyone. And if it does bother anyone, I would love to get a free used GPU, so just by subscribing to a channel. So yeah, if you subscribe, I promise that if I get to 1,000 subscribers, and right now I have 4, okay, so it's gonna take some time, but maybe not. Maybe if you guys all subscribe, I'll get there pretty fast. I promise I'll give away this card to one of you guys at 1,000 subscribers. So you have a pretty good chance of getting it at 1,000 subscribers. Not like, I don't expect you to be like, wait till I have like 1 million subscribers or 10,000 or even like, or 2,000, even just 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you soon.